See, the technique, the art, is to be in this world totally, be immersed in this world totally, yet not get hurt by the world, yet not get affected by the world. So try to live your life so that it brings you closer and closer to your source, to your happiness, to your peace, and less about anger and responding and emotions and all of that. Easier said than done. No matter what, no matter how much training that people have had, I often get messages like this, I'm just not happy. Why? Happiness is your natural state. It is the way you're supposed to be. That is how you are when you are not being affected by anything else. Your completely peaceful, natural state when you're connected with yourself, meaning you're connected with your source, you're connected with your higher being, whatever you want to call it. That is your natural state. But what do? We qualify our state. We qualify that state. Instead of saying, I am, what do we say? I am tired, I am scared, I am overwhelmed, I am frustrated, I am miserable, I am elated, I'm exhausted. You qualify your state as the state of the body or the state of your mind, an emotion that's coming up. We all have different sort of planes of existence where we identify very strongly. There are some people that identify very much with their body. So it's always, I'm in pain. If there's a little bit of pain, it throws them off completely. If there's a headache, they can't do anything anymore. If they haven't slept, they can't function, they can't manage anything. There are others that won't mind. They'll be happy regardless. There'll be the pain, there'll be the headache, there'll be the discomfort, and they go about their jobs with a smile in their heart, not just on their face, with a smile in their heart. But then they get very preoccupied with what's happening in their mind. Somebody said something to me. I want everybody to love me. I want everyone to love us, to accept us exactly as we are. But we want others to change. We're not ready to accept everybody else as they are. And now what this person says and what that person says, and what this person does and what that person does, changes everything. How we feel, it changes our mood for the day. I remember a time when one person's, and I know that all of us have that one person in our lives, and no matter what, if they say something to you, it bothers you, it reaches you. We have that person that pushes our buttons, right? And it could be someone you can't do anything about. Your spouse, your child, your mother-in-law, your boss. It can be any one of those people. But they manage to say the thing that bothers you the most. Oh, you've been on a diet for a while now. Haven't lost much weight, have you? Right? They manage to say the one thing that bothers you the most. How do we deal with such people? Because after all, what is the whole purpose of Hamsa meditation? What are we doing this meeting weekly? The whole purpose is to be engaged in the world, to be totally engaged in the world, yet not get totally affected by it. We respond rather than react. what happens is when people say hurtful things, when people say abusive things, and I'm talking about something very mild, someone saying something to hurt your feelings. But we know that there are so many people in totally abusive relationships that they cannot escape, that they just cannot escape, at least not in the short run. There is no escape for them. How do you deal with being told something all the time? All the time. You put up this deflector and you smile behind it. It's a kind of a screen that goes up. Only you know that it's gone up. Nobody has any idea. They continue to say, hurl their abuse, say what they have to say, criticize you, complain about you, tell you what's wrong with you. And you smile and you say, as if nothing ever happened. Do you know how that can irritate somebody? Do you know how that can annoy someone? That you're not reacting. Because most often, people say things to you to get something out of you. They're waiting for you to react and say something in response. And then they want to just come in for the kill, the cross-court volley, which the ace that finishes off the game. They want to win. Nobody wins. There is no winning, there is no losing. If you get out of this power struggle between you and the other that wants to control you, you use the deflector, because the deflector is not controlling the other person. The karma that is now coming from them to you, right? It is on them now. It is on them. Whatever they said belongs to them. It's bounced off the deflector. It doesn't reach you. The minute you say, but you're so ugly, now it's on you. You've said it. You've said something hurtful and mean, right? Oh, it felt great at the moment. It feels like you've won, but you really have lost. You really have lost. We respond to people that don't really matter. The minute you stop thinking that this person and their opinions can change how you think and how you feel, you've got freedom. The bondage is in that relationship where you're constantly anxious about what they're going to say. How you dress, how you walk into a room. You know how, in India we have the joint family system. And the mother-in-law can be quite a difficult person. I know. I can talk about hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cases where the women are just shadows of themselves. No escaping such a relationship. No way of going back to their parents. Parents will send them right back to their jail, to their prison. They have no way of escaping it. There are people who write to me and say, can you help me? I don't know what to do. I feel really bad because I'm miles away. I know that there are so many people stuck in situations they don't know how to get out of. In the short run, the deflector works really well because you're not getting the feeling of being wronged. You're not becoming a victim. You are nothing. Now you're not being abused, because only if you allow yourself to be abused can you be abused. If you don't allow the words to reach you, you've heard of the saying, no? Sticks and stones, right? There are so many sayings that we have around here. Sticks and stones can break my bones, but words can never harm me. Yeah? Our parents tell us so many things like that. We have so many fables and sayings that our parents have told us, our grandmothers have told us. We don't apply it. We never realize that we are in this abusive relationship, that we are hurting ourselves by placing so much attention and placing so much importance on this person. So there is this invisible chain that we keep getting yanked. We keep getting yanked by this person. And all of us have gone through it. And usually it's at a time when we were helpless. We did not have the power to respond. And people that are in such relationships take a very long time to break out of it. Only if you allow them to. And I'm not talking about, in terms of physical pain or physical abuse. No, I'm not going to go there because that's a whole different area. Many of us are caught in this power struggle. Our relationship with others is not on equal terms. And sometimes you can't help it. There is a boss and there is a person who works. But sometimes it happens in households where you can't tell your daughter-in-law something. You don't want to hurt your son. You don't want to impose anything, and then the end result is you fester inside and you're deeply unhappy. There is a technique whereby none of it affects you. You can be totally aware of deploying this deflector. You can stay behind that. The words are coming, you're not responding. The words are coming, you're not responding. All you do is as if you're listening. But you're not. You're not. None of it is getting through. You are safe. You're protected. You're on sacred ground. Your space around you is your sanctuary. It is your sacred ground. Your sacred ground. Do not allow anyone to invade that space. It is important. Yeah. We sometimes forget about setting boundaries. Sometimes these boundaries cannot be physically set. But when you retreat into your bubble and you have this deflector in front of you, you are fine. You are safe. Nothing can touch you. Nothing can hurt you. Nothing can harm you. The only thing that affects you is your mind, because what they might say and go away, but you repeat it to yourself 5,000 times. This is the cause of suffering. And then in your mind, you create 100 scenarios of how you should have responded. I could have said this, I should have done that, I should have said this. In hindsight, you have all the ideas. But you know what? Responding and having the last word does not mean that you win. In the way we think of karma, you actually are the loser. Because as soon as you've said something that to hurt someone, to affect someone, that has its own repercussions. There is wisdom in staying quiet sometimes. And there are times when you put down that deflector and you say what needs to be said. Now, when to do that, I cannot tell you. I cannot tell you. There are times when just keeping quiet is not the best option. There are times for action. There are times when you need to respond. You need to call a spade a spade. And that wisdom only comes through meditation. So meditation or putting up a deflector does not mean you're a wimp. You don't do anything. That you sit in your space and you sit and say Om. No. Meditation is right action. The way of the Krishna's Bhagavad Gita, the entire essence is on right action, knowing when to do the right thing, when to speak, when to hold your words, and when to put up this deflector. That only comes when you're connected. When you are connected, you always do the right thing. You always do what is warranted. You recognize the balance of power. You say what has to be said. You keep your peace. There are times you need to just keep your peace. Stay in your bubble. Don't bring in unnecessary karma, unnecessary drama. If a wolf howls, should the moon care? The moon shines regardless. There can be hundreds of wolves howling. Om Namah Shivaya. Hey everyone, thanks for visiting my channel, and if you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit the red subscribe button and turn on notifications so I can continue to bring you more content just like this on knowledge, on meditation, and on insights for a happy life. Don't forget, happiness is your birthright.